This is Diesel for We the People News. So this video is really high impact, so check them out. He's got really lots of good commentaries. He speaks clearly and all that kind of stuff. I don't. I'm not a newscaster. I don't sit down and write scripts or anything like that. Number one, don't have time. So whatever I do may be at the situation, the time, and cause of effect at the particular place. So I was just sitting chilling, and I thought, well, I'll just relax and watch some YouTube video. And I come across this high impact, and I've seen some of his videos, and the guy makes a really lot of good points. Really like his content, how he speaks it and all that. But this right here is more sad. But it kind of gives an idea how people really react nowadays. Now, I'm going to be first to say, if I came across this situation, I don't know what I would do. It just depends on the type of mood I'm in at that day. If I'm in a pretty much of an argumentative mood, nosy mood, then I would contest it. Now, if I just want to go in and out pretty quickly, I probably just would do what I would do. Just go ahead and get in and out. So I had to fall in line with some of these people, but I don't think they actually know what's going on or even had thoughts. I think they just kind of complied. I would have thoughts, whether it would be worth my time and trouble and effort just to go ahead and go through there at that particular time. But that would be the situation as it comes up. And let's check out this video.
I want to take this opportunity to touch on a little social experiment that this guy did. I'm not sure where he was standing, but he posted by this door with a lint roller, not saying a word and just motioning with his arms to have people lift their arms up. He took this lint roller and he's like, it looks like he's scanning them, but it's just a lint roller. And believe it or not, lo and behold, people who want to go into this establishment, whatever it is, comply. And I want to take this opportunity to watch this video. Maybe we'll watch it twice. And we're going to talk about a little experiment that this has everything to do with. Watch this. Amazing. Wow. This guy's nobody. He has no authority, quote. Not that he would if he had a badge, uniform, and a gun on, but there's nothing to signify in the minds of the people that he has any authority. This is just a guy wearing a mask with a jogging suit on. He's motioning them to lift up their arms like you would do, before you went through an airport scanner at a TSA checkpoint. And people are just complying. I would like to see the extended version of this video right here. I would like to see how long he was out here doing this, how many people actually went through and complied, and if there was anybody who didn't comply. It's just a fascinating social experiment to me. It just shows you that people will just do what they're told to do, no matter who tells them to do it. This isn't a perceived authority. He's not dressed in a lab coat. He doesn't look like an expert. He's not Anthony Fauci. And, even if he was, it wouldn't matter. But I'm just saying, in the minds of the people, he doesn't look like a law enforcer. It's amazing, man. It's amazing. So watch this. Watch. This thing only has 127,000 views. A lint roller. And not only that, there's nothing about it that's believable. He doesn't have a uniform on. He doesn't have a lab coat on. He doesn't look official. And he has a lint roller in his hands. It's not even a wand that beeps. There's no beeping. There's no veneer of this being real at all. And yet they're still complying, which completely reminds me of just obeying somebody you perceive to be an authority just because you perceive them to be an authority, up to and including harming and even killing your fellow human beings. I mean, what does that remind you of? As soon as I saw this, it reminded me of the Stanley Milgram experiment and Pavlov's dog. The ringing of the bell and making the dog salivate even though there's no food around, because that's how he was conditioned. This is classical conditioning, guys. This is classical psychological conditioning. And let me just say, the enemies use documented behavior modification psychology to make the public do themselves what our enemies could never do by force. They get into their minds, they open the control panel, they push the buttons, they pull the levers, and they get people to just comply without force. If people research behavior modification psychology, they would realize that they're being mentally manipulated into destroying themselves and their own children. And this is how it starts, guys. This looks funny. This guy did. Let me just turn this off and let's just keep watching it. But this looks funny, but this is very, very serious, because it's this concept right here at work in the minds of the unthinking lemming masses that will just do what they're told. They will suspend critical thinking. Matter of fact, they'll take critical thinking behind the barn, their own critical thinking, and shoot it to death so that they don't have to think. All they have to do is obey. That's how we've been indoctrinated with our 15,000-hour government school indoctrination program, to just do what we're told, to just obey people because you perceive them to be an authority. Respect my authority. So the kernel of truth behind this was uncovered by Stanley Milgram back in the 1960s and 1970s. And it's basically exact.
Okay. If you guys want to see more of this, it's High Impact. I recommend you see some of his shows because he does make a lot of sense on a lot of things that we are going through today. Divide and conquer. Democrats and Republicans, they shouldn't be divided because we all have one thing in common. There is a constitution where the government cannot intervene in your inalienable rights. And yet, we're too busy at each other's throat. And they get to conquer us of our own consent. Anyway, if you want to look up that, I thought it was interesting. And again, if I was in that predicament, it just depends on what type of mood I'm in. I probably would have if I just really wanted to get in there and get things done and get back out. Usually when I go